Friend of yours. Hey, Jimmy Rosenburg, or Jay, as you're going by.
Hey, Dennis C. Lee.
Well, yeah, I got an initial right in the middle there. Anyway, thanks for coming again to Songcrafters.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I enjoy coming.
These are 3 new songs, at least I haven't heard before. And something struck me as I was listening to them over there. I get a sense that you approach songwriting in a similar way. I don't know, there's a personal element, the way that I approach it to a degree, Dave Riddle. Songwriting sometimes a real solitary endeavor, a solitary art. You know what I mean? I mean, even the best of Bob Dylan, he's got to sit there alone and create it,
yeah.
You know? So you can relate to that. And I hear in the first one, which, by the way, you say is the first time you performed it.
Yeah,
really?
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I've had the lyrics run through my head for the last couple of days, and I just sat down with the guitar for like 10 minutes before I even come in here.
Yeah, yeah. I could tell it had that kind of freshness. At the same time, you're a little nervous about it. You were saying earlier, you know, but this is a great place to break something like that in, you know, get it in front of an audience. But back to the question of personal. How autobiographical, I guess is the question, are your songs? To what degree?
Pretty much everything I do is I relate to true life experiences. You know, and that's even like when I do cover tunes. I pick something that I can relate to. You know, something I can put my heart, my soul. You know, every time I pick the guitar up, I probably don't always sound the same, or you know, my time may be a little fast, a little slow, but I always give 110%.
Yeah,
you know, I take a song and I put my energy, my emotions, everything, heart and soul into it. You know, and that's what music's all about.
Right. Well, let me ask you: do you sometimes feel you've had a certain experience in life, and you go to the guitar? Do you sometimes consciously have the goal of saying, I'm going to relate this experience in this song? Or does it happen a little differently? You know, I've had both situations personally. But it sounds like, especially with the whiskey glass, we both got a little Irish in us, so I can say, did you go to the guitar and say, I'm going to write about my experience with alcohol, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, as people know, I've battled alcohol for years, and you know, I wasn't sitting in an airport when I wrote the song. I just come up with a scenario in my head, and you know, and put things together, and it's like, oh, I kind of like this. Yeah. You know, and I guess most of the songs I write are about past loves. You know, I've been hurt quite a bit, you know, and that kind of comes out via my songs. You know, there's a lot of times that, you know, I want to transpose some of the hurt and the pain that I feel inside, you know, because normally I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. You know, that's just a front I put up for everybody, you know, and you know, inside, you know, I've been social. I've been around the block a time or two, and I've been kicked down. You know, you know, I love to see people smile.
There you go.
You know, I love, you know, a smile on your face. You know, if I can have any part in bringing a smile to your face, I have done my job. Okay. You know, no matter how hurt I feel inside. Yeah. You know, but there are songs that I do that have a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion to them, and there are songs I do that bring tear to your eye.
But you've got to admit also that a lot of people listening to music, they're not always listening to feel good. They're listening for another human being that's had an experience that maybe they share that experience. You know, like when we listen to music, you know, you kind of look for the person singing that song that is kind of like you, has kind of been through something you've been through. And I think you're successful at transmitting what you've been through, That's what I was hearing over here. You know, whiskey glass. You put the U in us. You took away the.
Took the U out of us.
You took the U out of us.
You can't spell us without the U.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, you know, it's a clever way of putting in a real experience. You know, a lot of people love listening to a song about heartbreak because they've been through it. You know, and misery loves company. But it takes a certain ability to sit down and say, I'm really going to tell, and they're really going to feel what it's about. You know, and I think you've succeeded at that. But I guess the question is, what's your process? You know, in finding what you go through.
Really, there's not a process.
Okay.
I guess the only process is that words come to me.
Yeah.
You know, I can take clipboard and rhyme something with clipboard.
One over there.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of my songs. It's all about rhyme. You know, but it's not about rhyming every
right.
line. You know, it's having the fill in and coming back to the rhyme. You know, and that's where I come with it. I have the lyrics in my head for, you know, sometimes 6 months before I even figure out what I want to do with the guitar. I've never been one of these people that I can sit down and say, take the guitar and say, hey, I'm gonna write a song right here, right now.
Yeah.
You know, but that you took the U out of us, it just come to me, and you know, I've had a lot of thinking time at work here lately, and you know, and it's like, oh. I put 3 chords to it, and it's like, oh, hell, that'll work.
It's working.
You know,
okay.
It'll work. It'll work for the time being. You know, it's a work in progress. You know, I'm never totally totally happy with a song that I do.
Okay.
You know, because there's always more that can be added to it, or hey, I should change this line up, change that line up.
Yeah.
But you get a following, and you get people that are used to hearing it the way that you first present it. And that's the way they want to hear it, you know. So
It's
sometimes
interesting.
they're just stuck like that.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because there have been times where I've compared songwriting to painting, you know, and it reminds me of Picasso. You know, he had this huge studio. He could demand any price for any painting, but he had tons of paintings hanging around waiting to be finished. And he said, I'm not going to finish them until I feel like finishing them. And that can be true of a song too. You know, you can have all the elements, but if it's not quite right, you don't want it out in the public until it's right there. You know.
I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
With me, I kind of write songs in the blind. You know, with me, you can write a song in the blind, but there's not much market for a blind painter. But boy, they sure do think it looks good when they're done.
Well, you could have a blind sculptor. Yeah. Anyway, you want to do another song for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to debut this other original, just see what happens.